Hey there, WordNerds! I can't think of a good intro today, but we're gonna talk about tropes. So I know that we all love to hate on tropes in YA literature, or in books in general. I mean, I've spent my fair share of time complaining about love triangles and Mary Sue characters and bad boys. But let's be honest, there wouldn't be so many love triangles in books if people didn't like them. Tropes exist for a reason. They sell well, they're popular, and sometimes they do make stories a little bit more interesting. And if we're going to be honest here, nothing in a story is 100% original. It's going to be in some other book somewhere that's been written at some time. So today I wanted to take a slightly more positive look at tropes and tell you what a few of my favorites are. This vlog was inspired in part by a blog post that Susan Dinner did for the NaNoWriMo blog. And in it, she was talking about the trope of characters who go from hating each other to loving each other. I call this the Pride and Prejudice trope, and it's one of my favorites. I love characters who get off on the wrong foot or maybe are coming from opposite sides of an issue, but as the story progresses, they grow, they learn more about each other, they maybe change their attitudes, and they fall in love. I definitely suggest that you read the blog post by Susan Dinard because it has some really great insight into how to make that trope work. An important thing she talks about is that there needs to be a reason that the characters hate each other in the beginning. This trope does start to get old when it doesn't make sense why the characters don't like each other, when it feels like the author just wants them to not like each other to make the relationship more interesting in the end. But overall, like I said, I love these relationships. I think they're so fun. I think it's great to watch the characters grow and change throughout the story. My second favorite trope is tortured heroes or bad boys who are actually good. I mean, there's just something so interesting and intriguing about a bad boy, but I want him to also be able to get together with the main character, so I don't want him to be the villain of the story. This is why I really enjoy love interests who have a slightly rougher past and maybe are a little bit tortured. One of my favorite examples of this is Will in the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare. He's kind of a rough character in the beginning, but you learn that there's a reason for it, and it's a reason that makes sense, and you get to see the softer side of him that's underneath that exterior. Once again, this starts to be a little bit of an annoying trope when there doesn't seem to be a reason for it. There needs to be a good reason that your tortured hero or your bad boy is the way he is. And then my third trope that I love is the self-discovery trope. I love the characters who think they're normal in the beginning and then they discover something magical about themselves or something paranormal or strange or whatever it is. I mean, this is the whole "you're a wizard, Harry" moment. It's when Clary finds out that she's really a shadow hunter. I'm marathoning the first season of Orphan Black, and it's when Sarah finds out that she's actually a clone. These moments are great catalysts for the story and for the action of your book. Basically, most tropes are not a bad thing. There's the whole saying that there's no new stories, just stories told in new ways. I think that's the important thing about tropes, that you're finding a new way to use that trope in your story. The other important thing, I think, is what I said earlier, that the trope needs to make sense in your story. If you're just throwing in a bad boy or a love triangle or a self-discovery moment to make it interesting or because people like that, that's not good enough. There needs to be a good reason for it. It needs to fit into the story logically. Anyway, what are some of your favorite tropes? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys on Sunday. We will be doing a check-in for Camp NaNoWriMo, and I'm gonna go back to watching Orphan Black now. Bye.